I just wanted to get good grades and to do well. But it also made me realize that I have a lot of career goals.
You're there to get a full college experience, not only participate in your sport, but participate in things outside of that, and it's all about growing as a person.
My coaches have helped me with figuring out who I really am. Their lives are dedicated for us to succeed.
For the love of the game, that's what it's all about, they say. But for those of us who are Division III student athletes, it's more than that, a lot more.
Sure, the game is important, but as we work so hard to build both mind and body, it's more about team and the schools and communities we represent.
And for the many of us blessed with the strength to compete in sport at the college level, we understand that with what we were given comes a special obligation.
An obligation not merely to work towards a personal best in the classroom or in the sport we love, but rather an obligation to help those who have their own special needs and whose love for the game is no less intense.
That is why NCAA Division III teamed up with Special Olympics. For Special Olympics athletes, victory belongs not only to those who first cross the line, but to all of those who compete and endure.
They are challenged in ways we cannot imagine. They are survivors who test themselves harder and with greater joy than we will ever know.
Since August of 2011, we and others from Division III campus communities have volunteered more than 250,000 hours, time away from the classroom and practice field, reaching across the country to coach and mentor Special Olympics athletes.
And to learn, as we all do, that in giving we receive so much more in return.
Sport ennobles us, and in giving the gift of sport to those for whom it seemed an impossible dream, we are working to make this a better world.
Help us keep that dream alive.
Be part of it.
Get involved.
You can make a difference.
I believe sportsmanship is a mutual admiration and respect for your fellow competitors. We all go through a lot to reach the point where we compete against one another. It's important to realize that. So once we're finally on the field or on the court or on the starting block, we look at each other as fellow human beings and not just competitors. Being able to recognize the hard work that other athletes are putting in creates a more positive and inclusive environment.
It's the 2023 NCAA Division III Men's Basketball Championship Tournament, game number 2 from King Arena on the campus of Wheaton College. I'm Tim Caldwell. Nick Frank is alongside here for this one. We've got the hosts from Wheaton College taking on the Blue Boys of Illinois College. Both teams very good on the defensive side of the ball. Nick, quick look, what do you think we're looking for here in terms of a big key?
Well, I think it'll be interesting to see. I mean, anytime you step into the first round of the tournament against a team you haven't seen, very few common opponents for either of these teams, you get some feeling out. Both teams pride themselves on their defense. Both teams can spread out the scoring. So to me, I think we will see a defensive struggle, and I think it's going to be the team that stays poised long enough to pull away that emerges victorious in this one. And
Eli Considine is out for Wheaton. That will change the lineup for Mike Schauer, the head coach. He is trying to get a way to spread out some more minutes and get some production off of the bench. So you'll see a lineup that it looked like early on in the season at different points. It's going to be interesting to see how this team adapts against a team that can beat you in a lot of different ways. What's crazy is that there's not a lot of common opponents, but Steve Schweer is certainly very familiar with what Steve Schauer runs at Wheaton.
No, there's no question. Steve Schweer, longtime CCIW guy, assisted at North Central, played for Scott Trost at Illinois Wesleyan. He'll be very familiar with Wheaton's motion. He'll be very familiar with Wheaton's defense-first mentality. He was a very hard-nosed player, so expect to see him favoring a lineup of pretty hard-nosed, aggressive defensive players.
Mike Schauer leading Wheaton to the NCAA tournament for the 7th time. 7 appearances, surpasses the 6 postseason trips led by Bill Harris, who was the predecessor that you coached under, yes?
Coached and played under. So Coach Harris got Wheaton back there after a very long drought, and Mike has picked up where he left off and, no surprise, extended that even further.
So Wheaton obviously had the opportunity to kind of experience postseason atmosphere here at home last week in the CCIW tournament against North Park. How much does the level change when you get to the NCAAs?
At guard for Illinois College, a 6'3" senior from Saxony Lutheran, number 3, Trey Rogers. At guard for Wheaton College, a 6'3" senior from Bowie, Maryland, number 3, Eddie Scott. At guard for Illinois College, a 6'2" junior from Granite City, that's number 12, Jaquise Tippett. At guard for Wheaton College, a 6'5" junior from Littleton, Colorado, that's number 10, Nate Sock. At guard for Illinois College, a 6'3" sophomore from Nashville, that's 14, Buzz Ritzel. At guard for Wheaton College, a 5'11" grad student from Thunder Ridge, that's number 13, Tyson Cruikshank. At forward for Illinois College, a 6'6" senior from Lockport, number 35, Jake Mazrimas. At forward for Wheaton College, a 6'7" grad student from San Diego, number 23, T.J. Askew. At guard for Illinois College, a 6'4" senior from Monticello, that's number 40, Benton Singleton. And at guard for Wheaton College, a 6'4" junior from Columbus, number 24, Nick Chiavello. And introducing the head coaches for Illinois College, Steve Schweer, and for Wheaton College, Mike Schauer.
College for the first time.
I think it's huge. I remember my senior year going to the tournament for the first time at Wheaton, and it felt like a massive deal. The butterflies were there. Everybody was excited. Everybody was on edge. You get into that rhythm. We've had teams that have made 2-3 tournaments in a row, and it feels a little bit more like another day at the office. So I would expect Wheaton to come out probably a little more even-keeled. I think you'll expect the Blue Boys to come out maybe a little bit more frenetic, which can work to their favor. But if they get a little sloppy early on, it'll work against them.
Trey Rogers for Illinois College, Jaquise Tippett, Buzz Ritzel, Jake Mazarimas, and Benton Singleton, the starting 5 for Wheaton. Eddie Scott, Nate Sock, Tyson Cruikshank, TJ Askew, and Nick Chiavello. And we are underway as the ball is in the air, and Wheaton wins the tip. Home whites moving left to right. Cruikshank right away underneath the basket, dumps it off to Scott for the first 2 points.
That's good for Scott. Obviously, he's the guy stepping in for Considine, and good to get him going early. Also, a really good job by Cruikshank slipping in and stealing that jump ball when it probably should have gone to Illinois College.
Illinois College in the blue, moving right to left. Nick Chiavello aggressively with his hands in the passing lane, knocking it out of bounds. 21 on the shot clock, plenty of time here for Illinois College. Trey Rogers, the first team All-Midwest Conference choice. Curling to his right. Passing on an open 3. Patience, the name of the game. Shot clock down to 5. Adjusting Tippett, no good. Offensive rebound though.
Really nifty move there by Tippett, and good job following it. Looks like Illinois College is going to run some stuff that we've seen in the CCIW. A lot of screens out on that three-point arc, running guys down through the paint, off of back screens. It'll be important for Wheaton to be calling those. Wheaton is not a team that wants to switch those, so communication against this offense will be important.
2-0 Wheaton with the lead. First minute of action in the 2023 NCAA Division III Men's Basketball Championship Tournament. Askew to the free throw line, falling away, shot clock inside of 10. The head fake from Cruikshank, rotates left, Chiavello for three, knocks it down.
That's good. Good to see them hit early. Not the most efficient possession offensively. Pretty well defended by the Blue Boys, but Wheaton was patient when they could have forced it. Cruikshank made that extra pass, and Chiavello converts. That was huge.
5-0 lead for the homestanding Thunder. A minute and a half into the matchup. I think near turnover from Illinois College. Isolated on the far side. Good ball movement, though. Dump off to the open Singleton.
And that was Eddie Scott, I think, coming just a little too quick on the help there. Probably rotated before he needed to, and Wheaton didn't get that second rotation. Turned into an easy bucket for Illinois College.
First points of the game for Illinois College. Scott rotating left. Cruikshank over his head. Underneath to Askew, the graduate transfer. High floater, scores.
Oh, very nice. Looked like he almost lost that ball at the top, managed to control it. Really would like to see Wheaton get as much of that back to the basket action as they can. Obviously, Considine was one of the threats back to the basket, but if Wheaton can get that going, it's going to turn into a lot more open looks from the three-point arc, and that's where they can really do some damage.
Tippett in the paint, banks it in over the top of Cruikshank.
Cruikshank's going to have his work cut out with him. Tippett likes to get to the rim. Tippett likes to post up. Big key for Cruikshank is going to not be getting in foul trouble. He's going to have to give up a couple of those buckets, but against an aggressive offensive player, he's got to watch out for foul trouble.
Buzz Ritzel with the foul, his first. It'll send Cruikshank to the free throw line. And honestly, I know we're only a couple minutes in, but Cruikshank looks like a pretty similar player to Tippett.
It really does. They're both going to press the action. They're both going to, I think, be the trigger men for their respective teams. But what I've been impressed with, especially this season with Cruikshank, and we'll see how Tippett does, is as much as Cruikshank likes to press the action, he very rarely forces the action. It's a fine line between pushing and forcing.
75% free throw shooter on the season. Cruikshank averaging 19 points per ball game, 7th in program history in scoring. As Wheaton has an 8-4 advantage with 17:20 to play in the first half.
And kind of a sneaky seventh on that list. I mean, he's a guy who's been around here, has been productive for a very long time. But if you asked anybody where he ranked, people might have said mid-teens. So just shows you how productive and how efficient he's been for a very long time.
Second chance opportunity for Illinois College, and making the most of it is Jackson Dion.
Pretty impressive little move there. He kind of brought it up, tucked it back in his back pocket on the fake, and then finished very easily. It almost looked like a little too much razzle-dazzle, but it was effective and paid dividends.
Second chance basket for Illinois College. On the season, they're +7 on the glass. Wheaton -1, so that's a way that Illinois College can hang around. Cruikshank's three is wide left. Ritzel in possession for the Blue Boys.
And that's not the shot you want Wheaton to take. Cruikshank, as I mentioned, normally makes very good decisions. 10 seconds on the shot clock. You got to make them work a little harder on defense, get a better shot.
Dion in and out for three. Sock transition in the paint, switches hands, missed the layup.
Got bumped a little bit on that, but he gets that close to the tin, he's got to finish it.
We talked about this being a defensive matchup. Illinois College 11th in the country in scoring defense. They give up just 61 points per game. Wheaton, meanwhile, giving up just 65 points per game.
Well, and there's two things that go into scoring defense, right? It can be a little bit of a deceiving stat in that you've got to defend well, but if you also run meticulous offense and you take time off the shot clock, that's also going to create lower scoring games. You can see here, the Blue Boys are going to run good offense and work for shots deep in the shot clock.
Cruikshank with the recovery in the lane. Nice move.
What a nice finish in traffic. Good job digging that out of there, and great job finishing. And like we said, a little bit of a frenetic feeling to this game. Both teams not quite as crisp as you'd hope. I think it'll be the team that settles in and takes control that has an early command on this ball game.
Tippett works to the rack. He's denied by Askew.
And that's great help side defense. Really good job by Cruikshank of not picking up the foul and knowing he had help coming.
Sock left the three short, though, on the other end.
And once again, not a bad shot by Sock. He's open, but that shot is a good shot in my mind with 15 seconds left on the shot clock, not coming down in transition. When Wheaton is patient in this motion offense, they'll get good shots. They've got to be patient, though.
Somehow able to save it. Nice play by Ritzel, but it ends up as a turnover anyhow. And is that an intentional foul? It is. Cruikshank was streaking away. Dion reached in and wrapped him up from behind, and that's going to be intentional. And Coach Sweard doesn't like it, but you called it immediately. I didn't see it. We'll see what the replay has to show here. But incredible save, as you mentioned, by the Blue Boys going out of bounds, only to then turn it over to Cruikshank and watch him have the open lane to the basket. So he'll come back and shoot two after this timeout. Pretty fast-paced first 5 minutes and change of this game. You talk about Illinois College being a defensive first team. They're on about a 80-point pace defensively here, as Wheaton's got 10 through just a little over the first 5 minutes to their 6. But not a big surprise, Tim. This is kind of how you expect these high-energy, nervous energy games to start. A lot of up and down, a couple turnovers, a couple of chintzy fouls. I think this is a good timeout to kind of settle these guys in. What's crazy is we talk about the defense of Illinois College. Keep in mind, they play in the same conference as Grinnell. So they're giving up 61 points a game, despite in the 2 meetings with Grinnell giving up a combined 188 points. That's really something. And by the way, giving up a combined 188 points to Grinnell is like spreading it out and shutting it down. That's pretty impressive. They won 110-97 at home, or at Grinnell rather, on January 28th, and then shortly thereafter, February 8th, the 104-81 victory over Grinnell. I mean, 81 points for Grinnell is almost as if somebody welded a seal onto the top of the basket. That's essentially them not scoring. Cruikshank visits the free throw line. 1,683 career points, and he misses the free throw. Yeah, we were talking earlier about the elite company that he's in. Some of the very best players in Wheaton College ahead of him on that list, and some really amazing players behind him on that list. A lot of fans here remember Tyler Peters, who trails him by a few spots, Charles Ridley, who was automatic from just about everywhere on the court, and then the guys ahead of him are truly the pantheon of Wheaton basketball. So he's done some impressive things during his 4 years here. Split of the free throws, 11-6 the score. What's crazy is just one assist shy of becoming only the 3rd player in Wheaton history to have 1,600 career points and 400 career assists. Yeah, that takes you from pretty rare air into truly elite company in the history of Wheaton basketball. Quickly up the floor, the transition attempt no good from Josh Harris all the way to the hole. Boy, that's a bad miss. You got to finish that. You come out of that intentional foul situation, giving up only 1 point. You have a chance to convert easily on the other end, and that hurt then as Wheaton comes back and extends this lead to 7. 13-6 the score. Josh Harris, 12 points off the bench for Illinois College on the season, so some offensive contributions there. Ritzel drives the baseline, tried to scoop it into no avail. Second chance opportunity, Singleton is fouled. And you can see the fingerprints of North Central's heavy screening offense. I will say that Todd Reardon, for all the great things he did at North Central, ran some of the most creative sets with these little rub screens in places you just don't anticipate. That makes it very hard as a defender, especially when you defend like Wheaton does, which is we're going to fight over every ball screen that's out there. And when you're getting screened mid-paint, when you're getting screened, coming off the baseline, you've got to be very aware and you've got to be very communicative to handle that. So far, Wheaton's done a decent job, but they've given up probably 3 or 4 chances off of less than optimal screen coverage. Singleton on the season at the free throw line, just 56%, but his first attempt was perfect. And his second one is right behind it as well. 13-8 the count, 13:37 to play first half. Sox screens for Cruikshank, who dumps it into the left corner. Something else that I mentioned in the first game is with the addition of the timeouts in the tournament, it really kind of thins out your bench and gives your starters more of an opportunity to see the floor, so your rotation becomes smaller. No question. It's actually very hard to get really tired. As that Wheaton, again, a little bit soft running their offense, not crisp on their screening and settling for a pretty average 3-point shot. But Tim, back to your original point,
You know, I think Mike's done a good job here of going to the bench, bringing Williams in, bringing Schneider in, and making sure that these guys stay fresh. But I wouldn't expect to see Wheaton go any more than 7 or 8 deep. They've been going 9 or 10 deep here over the last few weeks. Obviously, Constantine takes one of that rotation, but Mike likes to play a tight bench, and I think this will be a good situation for him. Especially when you can add in the media timeouts, and if you take someone out in front of it, you're talking about giving them, 5-6 minutes, maybe even of real-time rest on the bench. Yeah. Nice take to the hole by Ritzel, but he's fouled. And once again, coming off of some high screening action. Andrew Williams with the foul. Yeah, the hedge was decent there, as you'll see. And then Andrew was a little late recovering, but he had the angle on him. And that's one of the challenges. When you come off of a screen, you know you're a step behind. You run a little bit too aggressively. If he would have taken a little bit of an angle more towards the basket, he could have forced, I think, a tough shot and certainly not committed the foul. Good look at Mike Schauer pacing on the sidelines for Wheaton, who is 19-12 all-time in the NCAA Division III tournaments. A split of the free throws by the first-team All-Midwest Conference member Ritzel. Yeah, Mike's gotten very comfortable in tournament play. It feels like Wheaton's become almost an annual fixture. He's been here since 2009. We're in the 2023 season. They've gone 7 times, so 50% of the time they're making the tournament. I'll tell you what, when I first came to Wheaton in the early 90s, that seems like an impossibility. So great credit to him, as well as to Coach Harris before him, in turning this program into a perennial tournament participant. Illinois College is missing some wide open layups. Yeah, they really are. They've gotten good looks, which has to be a little bit concerning. Askew got tied up, and it's out of bounds to Illinois College. I mean, there's no question this could be a 13-13 game right now. There's been 3 or 4 shots missed right by the 10. Yeah, pretty good defense. A little bit of a reach, but didn't grab anything, and Askew wasn't able to bring it up and get the shot off. Illinois College only 3 of 11 to start the game, shooting 27%. They look in. Rogers over the top, floats it in. Yeah, once again, another really good look. Illinois College getting most of their looks in the paint. It'll be interesting to see how the points in the paint shake out. But right now, they're scoring almost everything from 5 feet and in. 2-point game, 13-11. Driving baseline, the floater from Eddie Scott. A good finish there by Scott. Tough shot. Once again, I'm not sure that's the shot Wheaton's looking for out of their offense. I'd love to see a little bit more patience. I would say right now, through the first 8.5 minutes, it's been the Blue Boys showing just a little more poise on the offensive end, but yet another miss from point-blank range. Tippett drew the crowd, dumped it off to Rogers, who couldn't finish, and we'll have a timeout with 11:24 to play in the first half. Wheaton leading 15-11. This is the 2023 NCAA Division III Men's Basketball Championship Tournament.
I believe sportsmanship is a mutual admiration and respect for your fellow competitors. We all go through a lot to reach the point where we compete against one another. It's important to realize that. So once we're finally on the field or on the court or on the starting block, we look at each other as fellow human beings and not just competitors. Being able to recognize the hard work that other athletes are putting in creates a more positive and inclusive environment.
Football has taught me a lot throughout my life. It's definitely had a huge imprint on who I am as a person. Competing at a Division III level created that opportunity for me to go to college. Not only was I the first one in my family to graduate college, but I was really the first one to even go. Being the first one, I'm breaking that cycle, and now that I've graduated, I'm not sure what's the next step, but I know I have a lot of doors open. And a lot of those are open because I played football and ran track here at Otterbein.
2023 NCAA Division III Men's Basketball Championship Tournament. Wheaton with a 15-11 lead. They've led the entire way. Their largest lead, 7 points. Right now, rebounds 9-6 in favor of Illinois College. 4 of those have come on the offensive end. And Nate, you were talking about second chance points. Well, 4 second chance points for Illinois College here early on. Yeah, and that's what happens when you get stuff going towards the basket. You've got a lot of people going towards the basket, and you can get in there and create some havoc. Maz Remus finds Singleton, who played nearly 30 minutes in the Midwest Conference Championship game. Again, Illinois College within 2. We were talking during the break, Nate. Do you think this Illinois College team is just going to kind of find a way to hang around here throughout the course of this evening?
Well, it certainly looks like it, and especially if Wheaton can't find a way to get them taking shots further away from the basket. I mean, most of the time, we're seeing the Blue Boys run 20, 25 seconds off the clock, and it's normally ending up in at least a better than average look from within 5 feet.
Scott's three is no good.
And again, you're seeing Wheaton just continue to get forced into shots from the perimeter, which, by the way, would be my scouting report. If I was Steve Schweer, I would look at how do we keep Wheaton from getting good looks, good cuts out of their motion offense, getting post-ups, and how do we keep Cruikshank from penetrating? And let's see if Wheaton can get going from three, and if they do, then you can switch that up a little bit.
What a spin move by Williams after the penetration from Rogers.
Just a crafty Indiana native. I love his game. He's got a tremendous mix of dive on the floor hustle with well-crafted panache, and he showed a little of the panache right there.
Tippett runs over the top of Cruikshank.
Get another look at that one. I think Cruikshank did a nice job of staying in front of him. Maybe a little bit Oscar-worthy there. Yeah, I mean, that's contact, but one that probably gets let go as often as it gets called. I do like that, though, by Cruikshank. It will make Tippett now have to think twice as he continues to go aggressively into the lane. So probably not a bad opportunity to take a little flop and maybe take Tippett's foot off the accelerator a little bit the next time.
Midpoint of the first, Wheaton by 2. Askew high into the left with Rogers on him defensively. Isolates into the corner, lost the handle but recovers. Shot clock inside of 10. Cruikshank, right corner, three. Good.
Oh, that was big. That was big. Still a little bit too much DIY, do it yourself, from the Thunder on their end. I just, when they're at their best, and we've seen them a lot this year, is when they're getting good slips, they're getting good curls out of motion, and the passing game is taking them to the hole to either finish or kick back out for the open three.
Tippett on the miss from 17. Chance for Wheaton to match or take their largest lead as they're in front by 5. In the corner, three is good from the big man, Connor Braun.
Good to see him get going. He's going to get more minutes than he's seen recently. And if he can get going from downtown, that gives them a real stretch.
Timeout, Illinois College. Of course, in the tournament format, you have 1 30-second timeout you need to take regardless during the first half. There's a look at that three-pointer moments ago.
Well, that's a great timeout because about 45 seconds ago, you said Wheaton up 2. Now they've stretched it to 8. And Wheaton's feeling it a little bit. You call that timeout, you kill the momentum, and this may be what we talked about earlier on. All right, Wheaton's getting hot from 3. We're going to have to push them out a little bit more, take a few more chances out around the arc. Let's see if Wheaton can respond by getting some shots closer to the hoop.
Wheaton is 9 of 15 from the field, 3 of 6 from beyond the arc. Illinois College, 37%. They are over 2 from three-point range.
And they're a relatively efficient three-point shooting team, 37, 38% I think is what they shot on the season. But it's not a big part of their game. And until Wheaton starts to take away some of the penetration and screening towards the basket, so another ball screen gets set high, you're not going to see Illinois College settling for many threes.
Around the arc it goes. Harris stepping back. Shot clock down to 5. Rogers on the wing delivers the mid-range J.
Tough little pull-up. That was good. That was a good 25 seconds of defense by Wheaton. And frankly, I thought they were going to get away with a good stop. But as you mentioned, Rogers hitting on that sweet little pull-up.
Cruikshank retreats between the circles. He takes the left side. Dumps it to Askew down Broadway, looking for Cruikshank. Good hands in the passing lane, though, by Mazrimas. And now Wheaton counters with the same from Chiavello.
Great hustle by Askew. Great job by the Thunder that last trip down on offense. Even though it didn't turn into anything, it was penetration, creating opportunities as Cruikshank goes in. May have been fouled and finishes. Wheaton's looking like they're hitting on another gear now.
25-17 with 7:45 to play in the half. Waiting with it is Singleton. 10 on the shot. Harris tries the baseline, finds an open man in the corner. Ritzel's three is no good. Singleton went for the follow, and Williams comes away. Now it's Williams underneath the bucket. No-look pass out to Braun, who hit moments ago.
Oh, that's beautiful. And now you're starting to see it, Tim. The last 2 or 3 times it's been interior action, either off the pass or the penetration, that's been kicked back out and turned into a great shot. This is when Wheaton is very tough to defend. Andrew Williams could have taken the little hook shot there, but instead found the perfect shooter's pocket on Braun, and he converts his second in a row.
Hands in the passing lane by Williams to knock it out of bounds. We got a timeout with 6:51 to go. Connor Braun has knocked down 2 threes. Mentioned the need for him to step up for the Thunder. He hadn't scored since January 7th. That has changed tonight. Wheaton leads by 11. You're locked into the 2023 NCAA Division III Men's Basketball Championship Tournament.
I believe sportsmanship is it's a mutual admiration and respect for your fellow competitors. We all go through a lot to reach the point where we compete against one another. It's important to realize that. So once we're finally on the field or on the court or on the starting block, we look at each other as fellow human beings and not just competitors. Being able to recognize the hard work that other athletes are putting in creates a more positive and inclusive environment.
Football has taught me a lot throughout my life. It's definitely had a huge imprint on who I am as a person. Competing at a Division III level created that opportunity for me to go to college. Not only was I the first one in my family to graduate college, but I was really the first one to even go. Being the first one, I'm breaking that cycle, and now that I've graduated, I'm not sure what's the next step, but I know I have a lot of doors open. And a lot of those are open because I played football and ran track here at Otterbein.
With Nate Frank, I'm Tim Calderwood. Wheaton opening things up from the outside. They are 4 of 7 from three-point range, 11 of 17 from the field overall here in the first half, 65%, and they're up by 11, 28-17.
This feels like a little bit of an early game tipping point for the Blue Boys. They've given up a pretty good string of points here. Some really good open looks for the Thunder. Meanwhile, their offense hasn't yielded quite the same quality the last couple of times down. And I don't know if I like that shot coming out of the timeout, but they're going to corral the rebound.
Did it hit the shot clock or no? Shot clock violation, no rim apparently.
Yeah, so obviously a little bit quick because of the shot clock there. But nonetheless, not the shot they were looking for coming out of that timeout.
Timeout probably came at a pretty good time for Illinois College as well. Braun hands it off to Scott. He'll trigger the three, no good. Askew on the offensive glass with a second opportunity.
Terrific work. He has just been active all over on both ends on the glass. And that was a big putback. Wheaton's lead is 13. And you feel the Blue Boys maybe starting to press a little bit.
Rogers on the wing. Kicks it out. Back to Rogers in the corner for three. Nope. Askew driving in for the rebound. Closing in on 5 minutes to go. Nice take to the hole. Micah Schneiders.
Well, you could just see it. The interior is opened up now for the Thunder as Wheaton has converted a number of threes. And right now the Blue Boys look a little bit lost defensively.
And they're going to take a timeout. With 5:49 to go in the half, it's 32-17. Wheaton pulling away from Illinois College. They're 0 of 5 from three-point range are the visitors from Illinois College. You know, early on we saw them miss a lot of open looks inside, but it seems as though they're struggling to get looks inside right now and are just settling for those long-range jumpers.
Well, and I don't know that I've been paying close enough attention to what Wheaton's been doing defensively to say that they've made an adjustment. But I got to believe during that second media timeout, Mike said, listen, we're giving them way too much going to the basket on the drive. We need bigger hedges. We need better help. And that's clogged them up quite nicely. So if they can continue that, I'm not convinced the Blue Boys could beat them if forced to shoot from downtown most of the rest of this game.
Wheaton winning the CCIW regular season crown for the first time since 2009 under the guidance of Mike Schauer, who earned his first CCIW Coach of the Year award in 14 years at the helm. Schneider's free throw off to the right. Illinois College cleans up the miss.
That's never the most fun thing to do, to convert the two, then go to the line for the foul shot. Oh, and a really nice slip there. And that's the remedy for over-hedging, over-helping on screen. So for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction, and Illinois College did a good job of finding it that time.
Singleton with the finish from Harris. Askew's by himself. He'll drive to the rack and score.
He's on a mission. He had a chance to talk with his dad prior to the game. He was in from San Diego, just talking about how much TJ's enjoyed this grad transfer season. And Wheaton fans have certainly enjoyed having him.
Henry Hayer misses the three. Illinois College now 0 for 6 from beyond the arc. 5 minutes to play first half. 34-19, Wheaton in front.
Wheaton needs to continue to run good offense. They're riding momentum. Sometimes momentum can turn into that all too quick heat check, but they're doing a good job of staying patient, putting the pressure on the defense.
Williams is isolated. He locates Schneider's three-pointer is good from the near side.
And we've got collective heat coming off of the Wheaton three-point shooters right now as they've really turned it on here over the last 6 minutes.
5 of 9 in the first half. 37-19. Tippett draws the contacts.
Yeah, and there you saw Askew hedged, but given the fact that his man Singleton had slipped and scored the last time, it was a little bit of a temporary hedge. He didn't want to overhelp, and then Eddie Scott just couldn't recover quite quickly enough.
Josh Harris has it. Williams on him defensively. Harris trying to muscle his way in, rimming out. Offensive rebound though. Harris has it again, and he'll clear it out. Ritzel to the rack. No good. Here's a third opportunity for Illinois College, and Singleton makes the most of it.
And Coach Schauer is irate. 2 offensive rebounds turn into a bucket. This is a time when if you're Wheaton, you've got a chance to absolutely extend this, go in up 20 or more. You don't want to give up those second chance points.
Tough shot for Williams off the good feed from Cruikshank. Kind of a big possession momentum-wise for Illinois College here.
Absolutely. Their goal is to try to get this to 10 or less by the half.
Another
and
missed layup.
Another missed
second.
layup. Yes, I'm sorry to be talking over you, Tim, but we were saying the same thing. It's going to be really interesting to see points in the paint, second chance points by the time it's all said and done. I don't think we keep the missed layup stat, but I got to believe the Blue Boys are in double figures on that.
Driving to the hole, Schneider's denied by Ritzel. So points in the paint right now, 18-16 in favor of Wheaton. Harris with another miss.
Oh, pocket pick there.
Cruikshank lost it. The pilfer for Tippett to the rack. No! Harris on the rebound, and Illinois College cannot buy a layup right now.
If you see me breaking out in cold sweats over here, it's very reminiscent of most of my career where layups were hard to come by. It's funny though, you see team momentum, right? I mean, Wheaton now is hitting shots from downtown and it's contagious across the team. And you almost have the same issue conversely working against the Blue Boys on their end under the basket. That was obviously a tough layup, but one that you should be able to convert.
2:56 to play first half, a timeout on the floor. You're locked into the 2023 NCAA Division III Men's Basketball Championship Tournament.
I believe sportsmanship is it's a mutual admiration and respect for your fellow competitors. We all go through a lot to reach the point where we compete against one another. It's important to realize that. So once we're finally on the field or on the court or on the starting block, we look at each other as fellow human beings and not just competitors. Being able to recognize the hard work that other athletes are putting in creates a more positive and inclusive environment.
Responsibility is being accountable for your words and actions, first and foremost. It also is an obligation to be a positive influence in the communities around you. Being in a D3 program, you're going to have lots of different opportunities. You're not just an athlete, you're also involved in student life. Your academics are extremely important. We give a lot of our student athletes responsibilities right from the start by giving them leadership opportunities, by having them engage in the community, being a positive influence. That's being a responsible person.
Illinois College with 8 offensive rebounds, leading to 8 second chance points. They are 17-13 plus 4 on the glass, but shooting only 31% from the field. Wheaton staying red hot, 15 of 24, 63%. And the homestanding Thunder have a 16-point lead with 2:56 to go in the first half.
Such a critical last 3 minutes here, Tim. There's a 16-point lead, as you just mentioned. If Wheaton gets this to 20 or more, they go in feeling like they're in control.
Rogers in close.
Yeah, as Illinois College scores there, if they can keep this in the low double digits or high singles, they go into halftime feeling pretty good, and like a little run coming out of the gate gets them right back in. A huge couple minutes here left to play.
Eddie Scott, top of the key, working left. Now shoveling onto the right side. Askew back to Scott. Pulls up, 19-footer off to the left.
Oh.
And underneath, a foul going against Wheaton on the rebounds.
Yeah, Askew continues to be aggressive. I don't hate that foul. It's only his first. Did definitely get away with a little shove there, as you see on the replay. But listen, you're going to mix it up down there. Nothing wrong with that.
2:15 to go. Ritzel into Rogers, working on Scott. Twisting left, Askew comes in to help. No luck there. Sock rises on the glass.
That was good defense. I think Rogers may have shuffled his foot a little bit, got away with the travel, so it was good that Wheaton came out of there.
Williams just missed on a big three that would have electrified King Arena. Here comes Harris all the way, and it's an offensive foul.
TJ Askew doing it all on the glass from 3 in the painted area on both ends, and then stepping up beautifully, anticipating that charge opportunity. Not easy to do when you're moving down court at that pace.
Out comes the mop. I think they still call that a mop, right? It's not really a mop, is it?
Yeah, it's like a space age mop, but nonetheless, excellent work done by young Miss Stukes, daughter of Wheaton College Athletic Department legend Bill Stukes. Good to see that continuing intergenerationally.
1:45 to go first half. Askew, free throw line, Jay is good.
His energy and confidence has been contagious.
You know, we lauded Illinois College in their defense, 11th in the country in scoring defense, but Wheaton is lighting them up here in the first half. 39-23 the score. Wheaton shooting over 60% from the field. Ritzel takes to the rack and banks it home.
Good finish there to keep it still manageable.
Cruikshank flips it right for Williams. Final minute of the half. Cruikshank again, the CCIW Fred Young Award winner as the most outstanding player. Left it a little short. Harris pulls up and hits. The first make from beyond the arc for Illinois College. Timeout Wheaton. A hot mic shower as Illinois College pulls to within 11 with 45 7/10 to go.
Well, this is exactly what we were talking about. At the 3-minute mark, it was a 16-point lead for Wheaton. They looked like they were on fire. Coach Schwer uses that timeout, gets the team calmed down, and now they've got a chance to go in down 6, down 8, down 9. They're certainly not going in down 20, which is going to keep this a competitive second half of basketball, no question about it.
Now this is an Illinois College team that really throughout the course of the season hasn't been tested a whole lot. Up until recently, that conference tournament in the Midwest Conference, they had a pair of single-digit wins. But otherwise, they pretty much ran through the Midwest Conference. Team that started receiving national attention as well, some in the receiving votes category.
Well, and that's the great thing, not to flip the script, that's the great thing about playing in the CCIW. It's a rugged conference. A team hasn't run the table in the CCIW since Augustana did it, I think, in the early 70s. And you're battle-tested night in, night out. Whether you're playing at North Park, you're up in Carroll, regardless, you're getting all you can handle night in and night out. And that usually is why when you see the CCIW teams perform in the tournament, they're generally through the first round, they fare well in the second, and hopefully that's the direction Wheaton's heading here tonight.
Speaking of through the first round, I believe North Park was victorious today. Yep, 88-69 in their contest against Sewanee down at Wash U.
They're dancing in the streets at Foster and Kedzie. Haven't done that in quite some time this time of year. Good to see them back in the short pants in March.
They await the winner of Co and Wash U. She'll get started in about a half hour or so. Here's a surprise at halftime. 13-13 Cal Lutheran. Going from the West Coast to the East Coast. They're up 8 at Rowan, 46-38.
That's the other great thing about D3 basketball. You move from region to region and you just don't know what you're going to find.
I love the shoes for Illinois College, by the way. I don't know why I just noticed it now. But Tippett with those purple shoes. You've got Harris with the yellow and the blue for Rogers as well. Sock's going to give Wheaton an offensive rebound, and he threw it away. Ritzel accelerates, spins to the hole, denied! Askew! A 2-on-1, Crookshank to Williams to beat the buzzer. How about a turn of momentum going into the half?
Wow.
41-28.
It looked like Wheaton was going to go in, only up 8 or 9 there. Askew comes over, denies the layup, and they counter in transition. Steve Schwer not happy. He thought there was a lot of contact on the Illinois College offensive end.
Coming right at you, the block.
Clean as a whistle. Williams might have gotten him a little bit down low, but I think it's been a game that's been called pretty consistently when it comes to the slightest of body contact on the shot. I think good officiating and a great way for Wheaton to finish and take a nice 13-point lead into the intermission.
It is a 13-point advantage, but it certainly doesn't feel like a comfortable 13-point lead at this point, especially with as poorly as Illinois College shot in the first half.
No question. I think Coach Schauer will be happy with the 13 points, and I think relatively frustrated with what I think was kind of an up-and-down effort from the Thunder. Kind of a choppy first period of the first half, a really good middle 10 minutes, and they let their foot off the gas the last 3 or 4.
41-28 our score at the half. We'll have stats and more in a bit. You're locked into the 2023 NCAA Division III Men's Basketball Championship Tournament.
I believe sportsmanship is a mutual admiration and respect for your fellow competitors. We all go through a lot to reach the point where we compete against one another. It's important to realize that. So once we're finally on the field or on the court or on the starting block, we look at each other as fellow human beings and not just competitors. Being able to recognize the hard work that other athletes are putting in creates a more positive and inclusive environment.
Humble leaders, adventurous thinkers, faithful believers. For Christ and his kingdom, Wheaton stands at the forefront of Christian liberal arts education. Here, we facilitate an unparalleled journey for our students, bringing together deep faith, and intelligence to pursue their most ambitious callings. At Wheaton, reaching God-given potential is never accomplished alone. From coaches on the field to professors in the classroom, we come together to make space for students to wrestle with timeless questions and pursue biblically informed, thoughtful wisdom as they pursue academic, artistic, and athletic excellence. We are one of the nation's colleges that change lives, because that is exactly what we do. We live, work, serve, and worship together as an educational community centered on Jesus and reflecting the beautiful diversity of His kingdom. It's collaborative, immersive, Christ-centered. Our enduring model, with twin traditions of quality academics and deep faith, along with a faculty of Christian thought leaders and a staff of dedicated believers, allows us to champion the true essence of the Christian liberal arts educational experience, continuing the legacy lived out by iconic thinkers and evangelical luminaries around the globe. Wheaton integrates and connects disciplines through Christian thought, diverse peers, and contemporary global context. Here, adventurous thinkers and faithful believers come together to create a mosaic of diverse backgrounds, beliefs, and hopes. It's a place of curiosity and conviction, a place to live out your values and pursue your ambitions. Except here, it's not only about what you can achieve. It's about who you can become. Living out our calling with heart and skill through Christ-centered leadership. At Wheaton, you don't have to settle. We call ourselves Thunder because, like thunder, the Wheaton Network is a force moving through Him and for Him to build the church and benefit society worldwide. Like rolling thunder, God's mighty voice calls us to be humble leaders, adventurous thinkers, and faithful believers for Christ and His kingdom.
Football has taught me a lot throughout my life. It's definitely had a huge imprint on who I am as a person. Competing at a Division III level created that opportunity for me to go to college. Not only was I the first one in my family to graduate college, but I was really the first one to even go. Being the first one, I'm breaking that cycle, and now that I've graduated, I'm not sure what's the next step, but I know I have a lot of doors open. And a lot of those are open because I played football and ran track here at Otterbein.
Responsibility is being accountable for your words and actions, first and foremost. It also is an obligation to be a positive influence in the communities around you. Being in a D3 program, you're going to have lots of different opportunities. You're not just an athlete, you're also involved in student life. Your academics are extremely important. We give a lot of our student athletes responsibilities right from the start by giving them leadership opportunities, by having them engage in the community, being a positive influence. That's being a responsible person.
Proportion to me is the lived experience of our Division III student athletes. They balance life from an academic perspective and the rigors of competing at a high level, bonding with teammates and building lifelong friendships. But they also are involved in their communities. They work jobs and internships and volunteer. They've learned to be resilient. Diverse experiences are setting them up for the future.
For the love of the game, that's what it's all about, they say. But for those of us who are Division III student athletes, it's more than that, a lot more.
Sure, the game is important, but as we work so hard to build both mind and body, it's more about team and the schools and communities we represent.
And for the many of us blessed with the strength to compete in sport at the college level, we understand that with what we were given comes a special obligation.
An obligation not merely to work towards a personal best in the classroom or in the sport we love, but rather an obligation to help those who have their own special needs and whose love for the game is no less intense.
That is why NCAA Division III teamed up with Special Olympics. For Special Olympics athletes, victory belongs not only to those who first cross the line, but to all those who compete and endure.
They are challenged in ways we cannot imagine. They are survivors who test themselves harder and with greater joy than we will ever know.
Since August of 2011, we and others from Division III campus communities have volunteered more than 250,000 hours, time away from the classroom and practice field, reaching across the country to coach and mentor Special Olympics athletes.
And to learn, as we all do, that in giving we receive so much more in return.
Sport ennobles us, and in giving the gift of sport to those for whom it seemed an impossible dream, we are working to make this a better world.
Help us keep that dream alive.
Be part of it.
Get involved.
You can make a difference.
I just wanted to get good grades and to do well, but it also made me realize that I have a lot of career goals.
You're there to get a full college experience, not only participate in your sport, but participate in things outside of that, and it's all about growing as a person.
My coaches have helped me with figuring out who I really am. Their lives are dedicated for us to succeed.
When you're in college, you kind of find out who you are. And throughout your 4 years, you develop yourself with all the different experiences, which leads into dedicating yourself to your community, to your family. So when you're a senior, you're coming out a well-rounded person.
College has given me the flexibility to pursue my passions and my interests outside of the classroom and outside of the court or field. I've had the ability to get into different activities and organizations, and I've recreated my identity for myself aside from just being an athlete.
Getting to be involved in a lot of different things, ranging from obviously being a student athlete to getting involved with my campus and my community, and not only being allowed to do that, but being encouraged to do that.
The opportunity to be able to study what I wanted to and continue to play the sport I love, to have the professors know me on a personal level, all of those things came together very nicely in one package in Division III.
Being a part of the different activities and organizations that I've been a part of, I'm actually able to see myself where I'm like, hey, I actually can make a change. I'm one person that can make a difference. It really helps you develop thinking from other people's perspectives and looking at problems from outside the box.
Division III has helped me to develop teamwork skills, critical thinking skills, time management skills.
I've definitely learned how to really be myself. I found out, yes, I am actually a good leader, and yes, I can actually put myself forward because I am good enough. I can do it.
Coming in to college, I just wanted to get good grades and to do well, but it also made me realize that I have a lot of different career goals, and I've learned so much about myself that I was always like growing and changing.
When I got to college, it forced me to step up and become more of a leader, and I think that was something I had the capability of doing, and forever grateful that being at a Division III school gave me that opportunity.
You have to dedicate your time in the classroom, you have to dedicate your time in the gym, on the field, on the court.
Our coaches and the entirety of the athletic department, they valued the student athlete going out into community and trying something new and getting involved in campus life.
You can get involved in so many different things, so the possibilities are truly limitless for what you can do with your college experience. You can kind of make it your own in the Division III setting, so I would encourage people who want to have flexibility to pursue different interests and passions to go D3.
Passion's love. Passion is love for what you do. Because I think when you face challenges, it comes down to how much you want it and how much you love it. Passion is what keeps you going forward. Seeing so many people that were like-minded and so hardworking in their sport and academics, being surrounded by like-minded people makes you want to be more passionate. I think it pushes you to a different level that maybe you didn't think you had. And you can do the best of both worlds and love all of it.
.41-28, Wheaton leads Illinois College at halftime. I'm Tim Calder with Nate Frank alongside Nate. We've got some first half stats in front of us. I've circled a few things. I want to start with Illinois College and their field goal percentage, 35%. How much of that is Wheaton's defense and how much of that is Illinois College's inability to finish inside?
I mean, I think in the early part of that first half, a lot of it was their inability to finish on the inside. Wheaton got better. The shots became more contested. But I've calculated 16 of their 22 misses came from inside the arc, and I would venture to guess 13 or 14 of those were within 2-3 feet. So part of that's nerves, part of that is some good contesting in the paint, but they've got to pick that up. They closed that gap by 2 or 3 in that first half. We're looking at a 6-7 point deficit here. That's it.
Illinois College will open with possession here in the second half. So another thing that I pointed out here, on the stat sheet in front of me, I circled 6 Illinois College turnovers as a dunk is going to start the second half. They only turned it over 6 times, but Wheaton cashed those into 13 points.
Yeah, Wheaton did a good job of getting out in the passing lane and going. They do a really good job, Wheaton does, of pressing the attack on the break and making sure they get something really good out of it.
Are they going to score it? Yes, for TJ Askew.
And there's Steve Schwer looking a little bit glum or forlorn after that call. I'm not sure. I don't think he disagreed with the foul, but it did look like he got away with an extra step before the finish. Really good body control and a nice finish by Askew, who came off of a very solid first half with 8 points, 3 rebounds, and a couple of blocks.
He finishes the three-point play. If you're looking for a flaw from that first half for Wheaton, they were just 2 of 5 at the line, shooting 57% from the field, 17 out of 30. 8 offensive rebounds for Illinois College in that first half, but only on second chance points, 10. 2-on-2 the other way. Here comes Cruikshank with a finish.
Oh, that's a great start. Really nice job by Chabello, who didn't play a whole lot of that first half because of foul trouble. Nice job of feeding Cruikshank there for the finish. No, I think if you're Illinois College and you're Steve Schwer, at half you're going, listen, we shot 35%, we shot layups like we were 8 years old, and Wheaton shot out of their mind. Some of that stuff should normalize. Let's just keep our heads in it. So far, though, they've not been particularly patient on the offensive end through the first minute and a half of this one.
It's a good job by TJ Askew forcing the miss. Wheaton will retain here with 20 on the shot clock.
Good. Well, we've got a little break in the action. I want to wish a happy birthday to Thunder fan Connor Leamy, celebrating in Glen Ellen. Also want to wish a happy March Madness to Benito Camela, watching from Chicago, longtime Thunder fan.
Cruikshank for 3, in and out.
That was a good look, and just rattled in and out.
Jake Mazremus, he's the leading scorer for Illinois College. Did not have a single point in the first half. Askew again, just all up in the business of Singleton.
Well, and you appreciate, that Mazremus didn't particularly force it either. Sometimes when you're not scoring, you start forcing. He did his thing at 4 rebounds, only missed 2 shots and assist. So look for him to be a little bit more involved in this half.
Around the arc it goes. Askew drives baseline, draws the foul. And again, Steve Schmier throws his arms up in the air on that Illinois College sideline, saying, I want the same thing down here.
And I don't think he's arguing with the call. This was clearly a bit of a nudge, although there wasn't any contact then on the arm. I thought he got hit on the arm as well. I don't think Schwer has a bad point there. But again, Wheaton's been the aggressor. The other thing that goes into your mind subliminally as an official, when you're officiating, and again, this is back to my own experience, you're officiating a team that's missing a lot of layups. You're not necessarily giving them the benefit of the doubt that there's contact when they miss something in traffic. And so that plays on the psyche of an official, no question.
Askew couldn't hit either free throw. 46-32. Rogers down Main Street. Chiavello all over him defensively. Second chance, no. Ball loose on the deck. Who has it? Out of bounds. Wheaton ball.
They continue to get those offensive rebounds and yet continue to come up empty on the second chance points. This is one that if it continues to go this way, the Blue Boys will have a lot of regrets for what they were able to do within 2-3 feet of the 10.
Chiavello for 3. Nope. Harris on the glass for Illinois College. They did do a good job rebounding in the first half. They got to start chipping away, though, if they're going to get back into this game.
Yeah, the first 5 minutes of the second half, I think, are about as important to 5 minutes as there are in any game, other than maybe the first 5 and the last 5, especially in a game where you haven't necessarily been outplayed. You've more so shot yourself in the foot. You've got a chance to get back into it. It's a 14-point game. So much can happen, but if it's 14 5 minutes from now, if it's 14 as we go under 10 minutes, then you do start to run out of real estate.
Harris to the stripe, no good on attempt number 1. He's a 61% shooter this year. Actually finished 11 of 15 from the free throw line against Wisconsin Lutheran when he put 30 points on the board. Season high total for him. And he splits.
So Williams in, Sock in as well. We'll see how quickly they bring back Connor Braun, who was effective and efficient in a handful of minutes in the first half for the Thunder. I think Mike likes the rotation he's got on the floor.
Askew turning and dumping. Williams, corner for 3, no. Long rebound brought in by Tippett, off to the races. Tippett going coast to coast, and he couldn't finish. Another miss for Illinois College.
And a good job by Andrew Williams. That was a tempting situation to commit a foul. Instead, he just stood pat and got the miss.
4 minutes into the second. Crookshank matched up against Harris, pulls up, 17-footer perfect.
Real nice crossover there. Had tons of room after he executed it and hit that shot. Thunder needed one after a couple of empty-handed trips prior to that.
Ritzel to the wing, three-pointer no good. Illinois College was 0 for their first 6 from three-point range, and they're just 1 out of 8 in the game. Williams twisting and turning. Chiavello left of the key, buries it.
There we go.
Timeout Illinois College. 18-point lead, matches the largest of the game for Wheaton, 51-33.
As we mentioned, very quiet first half for Nick Chiavello. Just 2 points in 6 minutes, 54 seconds. He should be fresh and ready to go, and that was a big 3 for him.
So Nate, you're giving shout outs. I got to give a shout out to Rusty, who's texting me a little bit here. We're still a little bit early to that point, but he says he believes you were on staff when Wheaton hosted St. Norbert in the first round game a few years ago.
Boy, see, the problem is everybody's memory of Wheaton basketball is much better than mine.
St. Norbert, of course, won the opener. That's why he's bringing that up.
I was on staff up till 2012, so Rusty can come back and tell me whether I was around for that or not. I'll tell you what, though, we've had some really fun tournament runs here. We were talking about this on the broadcast a few weeks ago. The 09 team hosted 2 CCIW tournament games here to packed houses, then came back and hosted 2 first and second round games here to packed houses before bowing out here in the Sweet 16 round against WashU. So there's nothing like home action. The fact that Wheaton gets 2 games hopefully here, and then who knows what happens after that, is a lot of fun. So if you're sitting at home and you're nearby, make sure come on out for the rest of this one or come on out tomorrow. There's plenty of good tickets still available.
So bracket-wise, whoever comes out of this weekend here at Wheaton will meet whoever comes out of St. Joseph, Connecticut, who was the #1 team in the country for most of the year. Williams won the opener out there. St. Joe is up in their contest as well. And a trip up as Chiavello slides with Rogers.
Maybe we'll get another look at that one. I mean, he just went aggressively over that screen. I think he just kind of lost the wheel there as he went around it.
And we got a timeout on the floor with 15-16 to go. 51-33, Wheaton in front. Here comes a second look at the play moments ago. It's baseball season. That's what it is.
That's exactly right. Safe at home.
You're safe with us in the 2023 NCAA Division III Men's Basketball Championship Tournament. Scores in the late games around the country. Rowan has come from behind at home against Cal Lutheran. They're up 3 with 7:57 left in that one. Oshkosh leads at home by 18 over Fontbonne. Mount Union up by 11 on Anderson. Wheaton trying to join North Park in the second round of the NCAA tournament out of the CCIW.
It's always fun this time of year. You go from conference rivals to rooting for each other. It validates the league when you can get a couple teams that go a few rounds in, and it sets you up for better tournament action and tournament bids in that subsequent year. So Wheaton fans are North Park fans until they maybe meet later on in the tournament and vice versa.
Harris with the knockdown. North Park, by the way, is on the opposite side of the bracket, so they would meet in the national championship game. That'd be a heck of a run at that point.
I don't know what the betting line is on that. I don't know that it's necessarily one I'd put a lot of money on, but you never know. As we talked about earlier, you get through a rugged CCIW season, you catch a little lightning in a bottle, and you can go deep, as Wheaton did several years ago, going all the way to the Final Four in Fort Wayne.
Harris well short on the free throw. Strong side rebound. Williams taking off. Wheaton's actually cooled down from beyond the arc. Still shooting over 50% collectively for the game from the field, but just now 6 of 16 from three-point range. Shot clock down to 10 here for Askew. Schneiders will twist to his right, come back left. Spin move, has his pocket picked. The takeaway by Ritzel, ahead to Harris to the hole. No! Ritzel, the follow won't go either. There's 2 more missed layups for Illinois College. And now Wheaton counters in transition, and Askew throws it away.
Going back to that previous Wheaton possession, the best indicator of whether Wheaton is comfortable in their offense is how much purposeless dribbling takes place at the arc. It means there's not enough cutting, there's not enough screening, and there's too much sort of fishing for holes in the defense. That last time down when Schneider's got his pocket picked was a perfect example of them just not finding rhythm yet in their motion.
Steve Schweer clapping his hands together at this one, the 5th-year head coach at Illinois College and the Midwest Conference Coach of the Year. As Schneiders picks up his first, team foul number 3. Ritzel playing catch with Dion. Leaving onto the wing for Rogers. First team All-Midwest Conference representative kicks it out to Dion, wing right for three. It's an air ball. Falling out of bounds. Singleton attempted to save it, but Wheaton will have possession.
Yeah, it's clear that the three-pointer's not a top of the menu item for the Blue Boys. It's going to have to probably get there relatively soon unless they start to close this gap a little bit. The way they've shot from inside the paint and the time that's winding down, they're going to have to find some rhythm from beyond the arc, at the very least, to stretch the Wheaton defense a bit.
36% on the season for Illinois College from three-point range, but tonight just 1 of 10. They've had chances the last couple of trips up the floor to chip into this deficit. Williams utilizes the screen. Crookshank breaks free and buries it.
Well, we had the perfect angle on that, and I don't know about you, Tim, but that looked good from the moment it left his hand.
Bounce pass underneath. Well, Connor Braun, I guess, becoming pretty good friends down there. He literally landed on top.
Yeah, a little
of
mid-game piggyback
Singleton.
ride is a nice way to get to know the other team. Fortunately, Singleton didn't go up, or you would have seen Braun go fanny over tea kettle there, no question about it.
Braun's first. Fourth on the Thunder here in the second half. And Henry Hayer will make his way to the free throw line.
Hayer didn't get a lot of time in that first half, just played a couple of minutes, getting a little more burn here in the second half.
Did not score in the Midwest Conference Championship. He's a 78% free throw shooter. 11 of 14 on the year. So he hits the first. 13 points against the team that Wheaton's familiar with, Augustana, back on December 30th.
While he's shooting this second one, we'll send a high five out to a couple of young Thunder fans who go by the aliases Mr. Shark and Turkey Bertman. They're watching here in Wheaton as well and enjoying this Thunder lead so far and hoping to be here for the game tomorrow.
6:45, St. Norbert awaits the winner tomorrow night. Williams.
Oh, what a finish.
I don't even know what to say at this point. Neither does Steve Schweer, who just looks on as if to say, what in the world is going on? Rogers almost travels.
And Williams has had such a knack of doing that all season long, whether it's the explosive steal, the big rebound and putback, or in that case, the acrobatic layup to extend the Wheaton lead.
Harris breaks a spell of 3 straight from beyond the arc for Illinois College. Gunning for the steal is Singleton, and he finds himself in a breakaway, elevates, and puts it home.
And this is that fine balance we talked about at the outset of the game, where Wheaton is really good at pressing the attack, but rarely crosses over the line to sloppy. They've got to be a little bit careful here. Obviously, we're not anywhere close to thinking about an end game situation, but you want every possession to be a good one. Doesn't have to be a 25-second possession, but you've got to be more careful with the basketball to keep Illinois College from creeping back into this one.
Josh Harris with his second foul. Singleton will take a break. Tippett on in his absence. Eddie Scott immediately to our left. Set to inbound. "12 minutes to play. 56-42. Crookshank from 19. In and out. Maz Remus on the glass. Big trip for Illinois College. Coast to coast. Unable to finish. Tippett. And Askew rips the rebound away as he gets entangled with the aforementioned Tippett.
Yeah, that was a frustration foul. Tippett did a really nice job of coming out of there, pushing it on the break. I thought he was going to finish the first one, got the second opportunity and couldn't finish. Such a theme tonight for the Blue Boys.
56-42, 11:41 to play. We've got a timeout on the floor. You're locked into the 2023 NCAA Division III Men's Basketball Championship Tournament.
Responsibility is being accountable for your words and actions, first and foremost. It also is an obligation to be a positive influence in the communities around you. Being in a D3 program, you're going to have lots of different opportunities. You're not just an athlete, you're also involved in student life. Your academics are extremely important. We give a lot of our student athletes responsibilities right from the start by giving them leadership opportunities, by having them engage in the community, be a positive influence. That's being a responsible person.
Proportion to me is the lived experience of our Division III student athletes. They balance life from an academic perspective and the rigors of competing at a high level, bonding with teammates and building lifelong friendships. But they also are involved in their communities. They work jobs and internships and volunteer. They've learned to be resilient. Diverse experiences are setting them up for the future.
11:41 to play in the opening round of the NCAA tournament. Wheaton 56, Illinois College 42. The winner meets St. Norbert tomorrow night. St. Norbert an 81-77 victory over number 21 Carleton in our first game today.
Yeah, whoever comes out of this one will have their hands full with St. Norbert. They looked good and frankly should have run away with that one a little bit more if they hadn't run into free throw woes in the final minutes.
Nate Sock for three.
Big. Nate Sock came out, scored, actually shot early in this game, but has been quiet, and that was big. Needed him to hit that one as he got the wide open look.
He scored in only 6 games, now 7 as Harris takes to the hole. Off the window, no good. Wheaton's tightened up on the glass here in the second half as well. They're doing a much better job at limiting Illinois College's second chances.
No question. Most of Illinois College's second chances have been sort of flailing tip tries versus in the first half when they would corral the rebound, collect, go up, and then have a quality chance at second chance points. You're right. It's been a good improvement for the Thunder.
Tippett with his third foul. He'll take a break. Jackson Dion returns. Buzz Ritzel in as well. 59-42. Well, I'll say this, while it's been a comfortable margin, Wheaton hasn't been able to put away Illinois College yet.
No, I mean, no one's biting their nails, but you could look up 2-3 minutes from now if certain things were to happen and be in a very tight ball game as Wheaton comes up empty-handed yet again.
Harris leads the break. Harris by himself, high to the right, steps left, three-pointer, good. His second three. Illinois College was just 1 for 10 to start. They're 2 of 2 since. And they're within 14 with 10:20 to go.
And we're pretty much through 10 minutes right back where we started. It was a similar lead at the half. Illinois College has battled hard just to be where they were. It's time for them to make a move if they're going to get into this one.
Askew lost the handle. Steve Schweer can't believe it, thinking that was out of bounds off of Wheaton.
We may get another peek at that one. And I think he's got a legitimate argument. I think Coach Schauer also thought that the Illinois College defender, Josh Harris, might have gotten a little handsy in his own right. Either way, Wheaton has the ball and will turn it right back over.
Now Harris forces the turnover on Askew right in front of you.
That felt like a little bit of poetic justice. I think Schweer had the call right early on, and Illinois College pulls it out of there.
It was a 13-point lead at the half for Wheaton. They're up 14 at the midpoint of the second. Trey Rogers crossing over at the free throw line over the top of Scott, left it short. Sock strong arms the rebounds. Scott accelerates to the hole and finishes.
What great body control. Looked like he was going to finish that one with his left, shifted it back to his right, hung in the air, and dropped it in.
61-45. Ritzel with a long three, short. Harris fought for the rebound, out of bounds. It'll stay with Illinois College, a fresh 20.
And credit to this Illinois College team, just in terms of the hustle. They are treating every ball that comes off their offensive glass like it's theirs to lose. And that's frankly kept this game interesting.
Ritzel backing up, fouled.
It's an interesting little almost reverse pivot spin move that he did out of there. Kind of spun the opposite direction you'd expect him to, and it turned into a pretty wide open opportunity.
Ritzel had 4 straight games with double figures before he was just 2 of 10 in the conference championship. The first team all-conference pick delivers on the first free throw. Broke out on November 29th with 21 points against Cornell. It was his first double-figure game of the year after failing to reach double figures in the first 6 games, and he hits both free throws. But again, Illinois College continues to trade baskets. Steve Schweer trying to will his team to a stop. To the hole, Chiavello is fouled.
And Schweer's a little bit incensed. I don't know. Looked like there was a good amount of contact on Chiavello's signature move. He loves going left through the paint. And I don't know. Tough to say. Not sure that was the most egregious hack we've seen today, but probably worth the trip to the stripe.
Benton Singleton with his first, team 6th. Chiavello to the line, second team all CCIW pick. Has scored in double figures in each of the last 4 games. (62-47).
Interesting to see the 2 coaches campaigning to the officials. Schweer gave the trail official a piece of his mind, and Mike wanted to make sure that the official knew just how excellent a job he was doing in Mike's mind. So it's that politicking and campaigning is always a fun subtext to watch.
The block. Good denial, and here come the Thunder. Oh, more free throws for Chiavello after Dion was stuffed.
Really nice job there, the Thunder, being as efficient as possible in that break. Askew, 1 pass, Sock avoids the travel, which is not easy to do on a touch pass in transition, and then Chiavello doesn't put it on the floor. So anytime you can move the ball with just 1 dribble from 1 free throw line to the other basket, you've been very efficient in transition.
8 points for Chiavello as he hits the first. Jockeys tip it off the bench for Illinois College.
We're now into that time of game where, Tim, what you talked about, the extra gas in the tank that these media timeouts provide will start to make a difference. Got a timeout now by the Thunder, and you're going to probably see them go with a pretty uniform group most of the rest of the way.
Mike Schauer spending a timeout here for Wheaton. 387 career wins entering the contest today, 241 of which have been here at Wheaton for the 1993 Wheaton grad.
Well, it's funny, everybody thinks Mike is still, kind of the newbie around here because Coach Bill Harris had such a long run coming here in 1991 and staying 18 years through 2009. Mike finishing his 14th season is approaching the same number of seasons his highly regarded mentor Bill Harris was here for. So between the 2 of those guys, it's been really impressive what they've done. They took a Wheaton program that had fallen on some hard times. It's typically bottom of the CCIW through a good chunk of the 80s, despite some excellent players being in the program at that time, and restored it to a national power kind of stature. And congrats to Mike on yet another great season.
Rogers looks for the cutter. It's Harris with a spin move. He's fouled. By the way, just looking at the notes, the St. Norbert game was in 2013 here at King Arena. It was a 59-58 Wheaton win in the first round of the NCAA tournament.
Makes me feel a lot better because my rusty memory was not outpaced by Rusty's much healthier memory.
Harris with the free throw.
I was 1 year removed from being there, but I do remember that game. That would have been a Tyler Peters, Tim McCrary led ball club, I believe, that year. Actually, McCurry may have graduated, so it may have been Peters leading the charge for that team.
Harris with 12, and now 13 after making the first, as Illinois College retains the long rebound out of bounds. Benton Singleton with 16. Dare I say it's been a quiet 16 for Singleton?
It's been a quiet 16, but he has been in and around almost everything that's happened near the basket. A lot of second chance points, a lot of feeds off penetration. Tyson got away, thought he was going to get away with the travel, but gets called as he tried to do a little hop, skip, and a jump. The old triple jump didn't go unnoticed.
And he knew it. He comes up smiling after the call. 8:15 to go. Ritzel bounces it away from Askew. Here's Harris in the paint over the top of Askew scoring.
Harris has really gotten active here these last handful of minutes, and Askew's done a pretty nice job, but with 3 fouls, he's got to be a little bit careful.
Ritzel read it all the way, and he dunks it home. Well, you get the feeling that Illinois College, if they can get within double figures, might have a chance to potentially come back here in this one.
There's no question. These next couple possessions, both ends, are absolutely crucial for Wheaton. They need a good look, and dumping it in wouldn't be a bad idea, although if he can hit from downtown.
Long rebound to Ritzel off the Crookshank miss. He'll wisely slow it up. Stepping left, Mazremis for 3 off to the left. And a nice rebound by Chiavello.
Yeah, and Mazremis just has not been able to get it going. I didn't like that shot from the get-go. If you're having a good game, if you're feeling it, that's a great shot. But in this situation where you've got Wheaton feeling a little bit off-kilter for the first time in a while, you got to get a better look than that one.
It's also kind of a quick shot as well. How about the Cutter Williams?
Oh, I love that play. Coach Schauer knew his team was getting a little bit out of sync, went to a backdoor set there, and perfectly executed for the Williams layup.
Ritzel reverses and scores. Nice low post move.
Really good job of going one way and coming back the other to finish.
Again, though, it's trading baskets. Williams lost it. 3-on-2 the other way. Ritzel is contacted by Chiavello.
And this is one of those situations, you alluded to the different timeout structure earlier in the game, and we are going to get one here. Much needed for Thunder.
6:25 to play, 66-54. Wheaton on top as we step aside. This is the 2023 NCAA Division III Men's Basketball Championship Tournament.
I believe sportsmanship is a mutual admiration and respect for your fellow competitors. We all go through a lot to reach the point where we compete against one another. It's important to realize that. So once we're finally on the field or on the court or on the starting block, we look at each other as fellow human beings and not just competitors. Being able to recognize the hard work that other athletes are putting in creates a more positive and inclusive environment.
Football has taught me a lot throughout my life. It's definitely had a huge imprint on who I am as a person. Competing at a Division III level created that opportunity for me to go to college. Not only was I the first one in my family to graduate college, but I was really the first one to even go. Being the first one, I'm breaking that cycle, and now that I've graduated, I'm not sure what's the next step, but I know I have a lot of doors open. And a lot of those are open because I played football and ran track here at Otterbein.
I'm Tim Calderwood, Nate Frank alongside. Wheaton with a 66-54 lead in this opening round game of the 2023 NCAA Division III Men's Basketball Championship Tournament. Wheaton continues to shoot over 50% from the field. They're at 56%. But from the line is where they've struggled. 6 out of 12. Meanwhile, Illinois College is 9 of 12 at the line. As it's bonus time and Ritzel knocks down the first, this would bring Illinois College within 10. They're from Jacksonville, only a couple hours away, so they do have a pretty good following behind their bench, and they're starting to make some noise.
It's a good crowd. When I think of Jacksonville, Illinois, that one takes a nice role. I think of former University of Illinois sharpshooter Andy Kaufman, who hailed from Jacksonville, Illinois. Hopefully,
Ritzel dives on top. To the hole. Scoring is Mazremis. And don't look now, but it's an 8-point game, 66-58 with 6:05 to play.
And with that, the Illinois College faithful you just mentioned are up and into this game for the first time in probably 20 to 25 minutes of game clock time.
Cruikshank going all the way, scoring! Oh! Can you believe it?
That looked like an absolute impossibility that he was going to be able to get a shot off there, let alone finishing it. Cuts across, goes underneath the basket, and commits to finishing while getting fouled. That was massive.
Well, he's the most outstanding player in the CCIW for a reason, folks.
That was incredible, and I think the best part about it was he landed in front of the football team face up, and he let him know just exactly how excited he was about that conversion.
Couldn't finish the old-fashioned three-point play. Harris wide to the left, rebound out of bounds. Who has it?
Yeah, that's the right call. That's the right call. I wasn't sure they were going to get that, but they got it. And boy, did we need that out of Tyson.
.5:39 to play. Illinois College has trailed this entire game. They pulled within 8 moments ago. But an improbable play from Tyson Cruikshank seems to have turned the momentum once again.
No question about it. Now the Thunder getting into their offense. Again, spending a little bit too much time out on the perimeter. But he wants to go again. That was going to be an encore performance. Almost the same move with a little less traffic. And he's unable to finish it.
Rogers into a crowd underneath. Locates the open body of Singleton, who will make his way to the free throw line.
And that's one Singleton has had all night long. He always finds the right spot to be, either for the rebound or in that case, the little dump off across the lane. He's got to be kicking himself for not finishing that, though. It was a light foul and an easy chance for a three-point play. Goes by the wayside.
So no Nestor DuBois has meant more of Benton Singleton as he connects on the free throw, averaging just 2.5 points coming into this one. He has had an incredible performance. 3 of 3 at the line, 17 in the game, and now 18. No, off to the right, but Harris is there, and we're going the other way on the rebound.
Well, let's get another look at this one. I thought they might.
Oh, it's out of our camera view. But both teams are in the bonus, so Wheaton's headed the other way for free throws.
Both teams are indeed in the bonus, and wow. Illinois College missed a chance to potentially cut that to 7 or 8 on that trip down. And at that point, you're talking about anybody's ball game. Now, Andrew Williams, one of the better foul shooters on the Thunder, has a chance to get this lead back into a much more relaxing double-digit
81% from the free throw line on the season. His first visit tonight. Wheaton, as we mentioned, has struggled from the line. They're just 6 of 13. However, Williams makes good on his first adventure.
Not many guys you'd rather have at the foul line for the Thunder. He's been tough as nails, and he's been clutch in big situations. I was hoping I didn't jinx him by saying that, and indeed I did. It was good to see him finish that one.
Back to 11 at 70-59. 5 minutes left. Rogers the crossover against Scott. Couldn't convert. Sock obstructed by Singleton and a jump ball. Arrow, though, stays with Wheaton.
Without sounding like a broken record, it's amazing how many really good moves Illinois College has made into the paint, elevating, looking like the only thing to do is finish relatively easily and then just come up most of the time too strong. That was another really good look for Rogers that I think most games he finishes.
What are the officials discussing here? They're going to the table to talk about something. And now an explanation to Mike Schauer.
Oh, I think it's the shot clock situation. It's
They
not a
took 1
reset.
second
Yeah,
off.
not a reset. The ball was controlled by the Thunder before it was tied up. So good call by the official. Probably not a game-breaking decision, I wouldn't think.
Cruikshank high to the right. Scott comes to get it. Half gone on the shot clock. Sock sets the screen for Cruikshank. Back to Sock, give and go. Three-pointer. Oh! Rebound battled for. Rogers comes away as he spins free. Rogers in transition against Schneiders. Picks up his dribble. Now it's Mazremis into the corner. And it's knocked away from Tippett.
And we're going to see Chiavello and Askew checking back in, probably for the duration of this one. I think Mike Shower's going to want his seasoned veterans, all-conference performers on the floor. And with 4:16, we could see this unit go the distance.
Rogers wanted the foul. Cruikshank has it underneath, and Steve Schweer cannot believe it.
Steve Schweer went into a WWE pose there. He was borderline apoplectic about what he thought was a missed call.
Cruikshank
And he's going to be even more apoplectic when this call is made down here at the other end.
Timeout coming with 3:56 to play. Wheaton leading by 11, 70-59. We step aside. This is the 2023 NCAA Division III Men's Basketball Championship Tournament.
I believe sportsmanship is a mutual admiration and respect for your fellow competitors. We all go through a lot to reach the point where we compete against one another. It's important to realize that. So once we're finally on the field or on the court or on the starting block, we look at each other as fellow human beings and not just competitors. Being able to recognize the hard work that other athletes are putting in creates a more positive and inclusive environment.
Football has taught me a lot throughout my life. It's definitely had a huge imprint on who I am as a person. Competing at a Division III level created that opportunity for me to go to college. Not only was I the first one in my family to graduate college, but I was really the first one to even go. Being the first one, I'm breaking that cycle, and now that I've graduated, I'm not sure what's the next step, but I know I have a lot of doors open. And a lot of those are open because I played football and ran track here at Otterbein.
Wheaton leading by 11. Trying to become the second team from the CCIW to advance today after North Park was victorious down at Wash U. North Park finally entering the top 25 this week.
Well deserved too. I mean, they do a nice job, and they're a fun team to watch as well. I was texting with a couple former North Park guys I've gotten to know well over the years who were there in the 90s, just after North Park had those great runs. And, you know, it's been a long 33-year drought since they've been in the tournament, but the North Park faithful still love their Viking basketball, so good to see them rewarded for their loyalty.
And it was a very rapid turnaround for North Park as well.
Yeah, and I think they're going to be good for a while. I think they got the right guy there.
Harris with the turnaround, no. Cruikshank on the glass underneath. Sock to the rack.
And there the Blue Boys just got lost in transition. Sock waltzed down the court unnoticed and was unimpeded to the basket.
Mazremis behind the back, he's fouled.
Not one you can afford there. Nate Sock, the junior, out of Valor Christian, needs to just be a little more careful. You don't want any points scored with the clock stopped. Again, we're back to a 14-point lead. If you're prudent on both ends, you could ride this thing out to victory.
Jake Mazremis, 5 double-doubles this year. Misfires on the first free throw, and he's been near automatic at 82% from the stripe.
It's tough when you're used to being one of the leading scorers on the team and you haven't found rhythm. It can even boil over to an area where you're most proficient, like in the case of Mazrimas, the foul line, although he does convert the second of 2 to cut the lead to 13.
And again, this is a situation that Illinois College really hasn't faced this year. 25-2 coming into this game.
No, and there is a difference when you're trying to finish a game. They've had a lot of blowout wins, a lot of 20, 25-point deficits, and that's a big dagger from Askew. But coming from behind is different. It's a different mentality. It's a different tempo. You burn a different level of energy, and you're right. They have not been accustomed to this.
Harris in the corner. He'll unload. Falling away. Offensive rebound for Singleton. And Chiavello can't believe it. Well, that's why you can't believe it. Yep, that's his fifth.
He's incensed. I'm glad that was his fifth. You never want to kind of flail down court making a scene. I remember one time after college playing in Ireland, I thought I'd committed my fifth foul, peeled my jersey off, fired into the crowd, went to sit down, and the coach goes, "Hey, what are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm out." He's like, "Go get your jersey. That was only number 4. Had to walk back up there, tail between my legs. In that case, Chiavello a little more aware of his foul situation than I was back many years ago.
Singleton hits the first. How much is that jersey worth these days, Nate?
What are they paying for dish rags these days?
Did you get it back?
I did. I had to fight a young Irishman for it, but I do still have it in the archive.
Nope. Sock on the rebound. 2:40 to go.
Good job by Sock. I almost feel like saying good job anytime Wheaton corrals a defensive rebound, given how active and effective Illinois College has been. Sock holds on to that one, and Wheaton sets up the offense. They're going to be patient. They're not going to be overly deliberate, but unless you've got something wide open, you don't want to shoot until the shot clock is at single digits.
Cruikshank for 3 with 5 on the shot clock. The rebound is off the noggin of Williams.
Yeah, Williams almost kept that alive enough to force something good, which is so much of his MO.
15 offensive rebounds, by the way, for Illinois College. They are +7 on the glass. Ritzel the long 3, well off to the right. But Illinois College is going to retain at the 2-minute mark with 15 on the shot.
And boy, the 3-point, it looked like when they made their little run about 3-4 minutes ago, it looked like they maybe were going to get hot from downtown, and since then, they have gone ice cold. Again, we mentioned not a team that relies on the 3, not a team that shoots it particularly well, but they've not been able to find anything where they've needed it most.
Rogers up and under to score. His season high 26 back on February 14th against Knox. But he's been relatively quiet. 10 points for him now. $1:35 left.
And I don't know what Illinois College is doing. I mean, they're not going to have enough time if they let Wheaton run this shot clock down every time. Although, as they do that, they turn it over. I don't see how Illinois College can come back down another defensive possession and not foul right away, or not foul at least once the ball crosses the timeline.
Or set up a trap, too, to try and force a turnover.
They've got to do something. It feels a little bit like they may have succumbed to a tough shooting night, but we'll see.
A lot of contact underneath. Askew gets to know one of our officials pretty well.
Yeah, he paid the price and then did a little do-si-do with the baseline official there.
Is that your dance of choice, the do-si-do?
The do-si-do. I like a little, I don't even know where we're going to go with that, Tim. I've got nothing for you.
76-63, Wheaton leads by 13 with 1:19 remaining.
Yeah, they're going to inbound here, and I don't know what kind of packages Illinois College has in terms of full court trapping. But at the very least, you can pick up man-to-man full court. I think you try to perhaps trap the inbounds pass, get a turnover. If you don't get that, you've got to foul right away. As we've already talked about, Wheaton's not having their most proficient night from the foul stripe. You get a couple misses, but it's all going to be for naught if they don't put some serious pressure on, and they're going to have to hit a 3 or a series of 3s if they want to try to trim this in short order.
And Illinois College just 3 of 18 from the three-point line.
Yeah, you're not going to beat many teams anywhere in the country shooting the percentage they've shot, not only from 3, but from the field tonight.
32% from the field. Get a load of this, Nate. 70 field goal attempts for Illinois College. 7-0 compared to 52 for Wheaton.
Yeah, I mean,
they're down by 13.
That's offense. That's usually offensive glass superiority, and the other team's probably turned it over. In this case, Wheaton's probably turned it over a little bit more. But that is a massive differential, and you would almost guarantee the team on the losing end of that would be on the losing end of this one.
Nice little game of keep away here.
Yeah, but the shooting woes for Illinois College really have been their Achilles heel. And I mean, at the end of the day, that's the easy thing to say. The whole point of this game is put the ball in the basket. But they've done everything else pretty darn well. And they're going to look back on this one. There's a lot of bunnies and then some good open looks from three that just got away from them.
Illinois College has only turned it over 7 times compared to 14 for Wheaton as Williams hits the free throw. The CCIW regular season champs 1 minute and 5 seconds away from joining the tournament champs North Park in the second round. The lead is 15. Dion twists right, spots Hayer for 3, nope. Singleton on the offensive glass. Stepping left in the corner, Maz Remus. His 3 won't go either. Here's a third attempt. And striking underneath is Tyler Jowett.
Nice job there. I don't think we're going to see any more fouls as we got a 13-point deficit in 43 seconds. I'll tell you, one of the nice things about having home court advantage is we get a foul on Cruikshank and he'll go to the line. One of the great things about having home court advantage, if you win in the first round, is how you get to spend your Saturday before the game Saturday night. St. Norbert will go back to a hotel. They'll be sharing rooms. They'll be trying to figure out, how to kill time between tomorrow's shoot-around and the game. For the home team, you're going to have lunch. You're going to have breakfast where you always do. You're in your own bed. You got all the amenities of being quote-unquote at home. That's a huge difference when it comes down to it.
Steve Schweer is clearing his bench. We've seen 2 record seasons come to an end here at Wheaton today. Carleton set a school record with 24 victories. They lost against St. Norbert 81-77. Illinois College, a school record 25 wins. They're down 13 with 37.7 as Steve Schweer concedes.
Well, it's certainly not the end of an era for Schweer. If you look at this team, they will lose Trey Rogers, they will lose Benton Singleton, and they will lose Jake Mazremis. However, you've got Harris coming back, you've got Nestor DeBoyne coming back, you've got Tippett, you've got Ritzel coming back, who's a force. He's got a lot of players coming back, and I think he could start to build some momentum here. I wouldn't be surprised to see them become the class of their league in the coming years.
Tyler Jowett, a senior, greeted by hugs from the coaching staff. Cruikshank's second toss is good. You're going to see a 14-point win, or at least the score right now anyway, right? For Wheaton, it could finish a little tighter or further than that. But in reality, this game ended up being a little closer than you would have thought, because there was never a point when Wheaton was really able to put this game away.
No, you weren't on the edge of your seat. You weren't biting your nails, but you certainly weren't kicked back in the easy chair with both hands behind the head, or flipping channels if you were watching at home, other than maybe for the lack of quality of the color commentary in this game. But it's not an atypical first-round game. You've got teams that are nervous. You've got teams that haven't seen each other. They don't know a whole lot about. Leads to a little bit of sloppiness. Leads to a little bit of, one run begets another run from the other team. So I think you'll be able to critique this tape on the Wheaton end and figure out some ways to improve for tomorrow. But all in all, I think Coach Schauer and his staff will be pretty happy with the effort his team put forward here.
Daniel Garza is into the game. Steve Schweer further clearing his bench. MacArthur Briggs. Tendo Mubuka. Matt Ray with another free throw. 79-66. Well, let's give a quick preview of tomorrow's contest as Shivers brings it up the floor, or Snyder's brings it up the floor. St. Norbert waits. We were talking a little bit at halftime about that kind of team. They're a very long team, and they'll get in your face defensively as well and contest every single pass and every single shot. What do you expect to see tomorrow in that game?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, Wheaton can play well against a team like that. First of all, Wheaton is a defense-first team as well. The second piece of that, though, is if Wheaton will commit to running motion offense against an aggressive contesting team, that can create a lot of backdoor opportunities, can create a lot of easy looks, and then as they help, can create a lot of threes. So I think, again, it's a little bit of a broken record because it's the refrain all the time. When Wheaton commits to its offense and getting to the basket early on in a game, they're very effective. But if they don't do that and they let St. Norbert take them out of it, it could be a very long night for the Thunder. It'll be a fun game tomorrow.
There's your final, 79-66. The last time Wheaton and St. Norbert met in the NCAA tournament, it was a barn burner, with Wheaton winning a one-point game, 59-58. They'll meet in the second round tomorrow night here at King Arena. And in a lot of ways, St. Norbert's going to be very similar to Illinois College in the sense that they don't have one go-to player, but they can beat you from a lot of different areas on the floor.
No, they'll spread it around quite a bit. That's tough to defend. It's tough to scout. You can't focus your attention on taking one person out of it. They're also going to have an extra 2 or 3 hours of recuperation time. Playing back-to-back nights is emotionally draining. It's physically draining. So expect a good effort out of St. Norbert tomorrow. The Thunder will have their hands full.
So the CCIW has 2 teams in the second round. Wheaton will be playing on their home floor tomorrow night against St. Norbert. We'll have the contest for you at 6:45 as they gather in the center circle for the customary prayer involving both teams. 79-66 is the final. Nate, that was fun. Thank you, my friend.
Tim, I've enjoyed it, and we'll look forward to seeing you in less than 24 right back here.
It is less than 24, isn't it? 22-ish or so now. For Nate Frank, I'm Tim Calderwood. Thanks for being with us, our entire crew here on WTSN. Wheaton and St. Norbert tomorrow night at 6:45 in the second round of the NCAA Division III Men's Basketball Championship Tournament. We'll have it for you. In the meantime, good night, my friends.
Responsibility is being accountable for your words and actions, first and foremost. It also is an obligation to be a positive influence in the communities around you. Being in a D3 program, you're going to have lots of different opportunities. You're not just an athlete, you're also involved in student life. Your academics are extremely important. We give a lot of our student athletes responsibilities right from the start by giving them leadership opportunities, by having them engage in the community, be a positive influence. That's being a responsible person.